It's February already, and it's time to fall in love all over again with one of my favorite Google apps. I didn't always love it, but like any good love story, it began with trepidation and blossomed into a wonderful relationship. I'm, of course, talking about Google Sheets. Let's explore 3 ways that you too can fall in love all over again with Google Sheets this month. Let's put 3 minutes on the clock. Let's get into it. To start off with, we got to start over on Google Forms. Any form that we create in Google Forms can actually be connected to a sheet where we were allowed to sort the data and be able to get more out of our responses from our students or from our parents. All we have to do is click over response and link to sheets. We can link to multiple sheets. We can create a new one, or we can select an existing sheet. I'm going to go ahead and do that and add it to the one that we're going to be working on today. When I do that, if we jump over to my sheet, which it automatically opens up, there's my form responses, and here's my original data for my sheet. I can move it around and connect those two together. But this leads me to my first thing that I absolutely love about Google Sheets. The first thing I love is if I go up to Tools and I go to Notification Settings, I can go ahead and edit notifications. Basically, anytime that a user submits a form or any changes are made, I can get an email digest daily or immediately. And I hit save. And now anytime that that form is submitted and it goes to this sheet, I get an email to tell me that things have been updated. Lovely way to keep track of what your students are doing. If they're filling something out and maybe turning something in late, you'll be able to see all of those in one place. And if you're one of those teachers that doesn't love 100 emails, then do it for once a day. And that way you get a digest of everything that was submitted during that day. Easy to set up, and perhaps one of my favorite uses of Google Sheet. The next thing we're going to look at is one of my favorite tools inside of Google Sheets, but it's also the thing that kept me away for so long. It's formulas. Now, formulas, folks, seem big and scary, but there's one that I'm going to show you really quickly that is fantastic. Now, you can see right here, I've already kind of populated some fake data here, student 1, 2, and 3, and assessment 1, 2, and 3, with some numbers. These are just stuff that I tossed in there. Well, I'm going to go up to my 3 dots, or it might be sitting on your bar right here. You're looking for this E with a drop down, and you can go in there and see all these different formulas. And what I love about this, if you hover over any of these, it'll tell you what the formula does, and it's easy to jump in there. Faster way to do it, though, is just hitting your equal sign and then starting to type the one that we're looking for. And this one we're looking for is called Sparkline. Sparkline is incredible because basically what it does is it creates a little mini graph inside of a cell. So if I go ahead and grab Sparkline, and then I grab my data here, notice that I just hover over it and highlight across, gives me that. I'm going to close the formula with a parenthesis and hit enter. And now it gives me this very cool little bar graph that I can go, or line graph that I can go ahead and look at and see my scores over time. And I can go ahead and copy it just by grabbing the little corner right here and dragging down. And now I have a line graph for every single student that takes that test. And let's say if I add another one, we'll add student 4, and they got a 2, a 10, and a 6. Well, just go ahead, drag it down. There you go, ready to roll. Very easy, but also one of my favorite things about formulas is that they tell you exactly what you can use them for as you look at them. So if you're looking at one and going, I have no idea what that might be, you can go ahead and click on it and hover over it, and it'll teach you how to do it. Very, very cool. The last thing I want to show you folks is some new features on Google Sheets, and they're up in the insert box. Now, this is where you can add cells and rows and columns and all sorts of stuff, but they actually added a couple new features. The first one is timeline. Now, what timeline looks like is that it actually takes events and allows you to section those off into a really cool calendar view. So take a few minutes if you're working on a project or maybe a scope and sequence to go in here and add some dates and see what it's all about. The last thing, folks, is also in the insert button here. So they just added a couple new things down here. Checkbox, drop down, and smart chips. Now these are things that have been in Google Docs before, but they make things that we want to do inside of a Google Sheet so much simpler. So I'm going to go ahead and move my cell right there. I'm going to go up to Insert. I'm going to add a checkbox. So now I have a checkbox to see if that student is maybe on where we need them to be, or maybe they are a little bit off and I need to go work with them. Basically a check mark for working with them. The next one is drop downs. This one you can program in to say, here are all the drop downs that I want in here. And then it'll just be sitting there and you can grab the different options there. You can also color those, make it easy for you to see different options. The last thing, folks, is a smart chip. And this is, again, a holdover from Google Docs. You can add people, file, or calendar event, and you can go ahead and search people. So I can just add myself. There we go. And now this is a smart chip that's linked to my other email. And so it makes it really easy for me to jump in and tag people or tag events or tag files inside of Google Sheets. So there's a lot of great options here, folks. Check them all out and see what works for you in your classroom. Well, there's 3 ways that you can dive into and fall in love all over again with Google Sheets this month. Check out the other videos in the Get Googly series to discover more about how to get googly in your classroom. We'll see you next time.